Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for today, Monday, April 22nd, 2019.
Commissioner Cabello, James, Davis, and Caloza are present. President James, we do have a quorum. May we start with bureau introductions, please, starting with Bureau of Street Lighting.
Good morning. Asad Al-Najjar, Bureau of Street Lighting.
Good morning. Craig Shaw, Bureau of Street Services.
Good morning. Brett McReynolds, Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good morning. Wesley Tanagiri, Bureau of Engineering.
Good morning. Anita Fernandez, LA Sanitation.
Good morning. Ted Jordan, Public Works General Counsel.
Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. President James, we do not have any speaker cards under general public comment. We also do not have any commentary under the Neighborhood Council comment section. We did receive a speaker card on item number 7 for today's agenda.
Okay, we'll close general public comment as well as the Neighborhood Council category of commentary. I've got board meeting minutes from Wednesday, March 13th for regular meeting and 2 for various special meetings. Is there a second to my motion that we approve those meeting minutes by Commissioner Cabello? Any objection? Without objection, those will be approved. Agenda item number 9, an item sent back for signature. The mayor has approved and authorized the Board of Public Works on behalf of the Bureau of Engineering to execute a memorandum of agreement with the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power for design services for the Stormwater Capture Parks program. Is there a second to my motion that we approve agenda item number 9 forthwith by Commissioner Davis? Any objection? Without objection, we will do so. Agenda item number 10. The mayor has authorized the Board of Public Works on behalf of Sanitation to execute a memorandum of understanding with the University of California at Los Angeles, that's UCLA, Commissioner Davis, for the shared use of their hazardous waste collection facility for a term of 6 years. Is there a second? Davis won't second this one. Is there a second on agenda item number 10 for me? Commissioner Caloza, any objection? Without objection, we will approve agenda item number 10. Agenda item number 5 is a contract acceptance sidewalk repair program, small sidewalk work package number 8. Mr. McReynolds on agenda item number 5.
Thank you, President James, commissioners, and colleagues. Brett McReynolds, Bureau of Contract Administration, small sidewalk repair contract package number 8 in Council District 12. On January 26, 2018, this contract was awarded to Mike Perlich & Son in the amount of $71,379.40 with a not-to-exceed amount of $99,000. The contract repaired sidewalk, curb gutters, driveways, and work relocation for street lighting pole boxes. 2 change orders were issued, bringing the total cost of the contract to $90,381,336, which is 9.62% below the authorized budget. However, 26.62 above its award amount. This was due to change orders adding alternative materials under the Alternative Materials Pilot Program. In this case, we added some rubberized asphalt pavers at Chase Park. The contract was issued using the on-call small sidewalk contractor list, thus no specific MBEWB levels were established due to the project size, and the contractor has complied with all EEO and labor compliance requirements. Work was completed on August 18, 2018, and there are no unresolved property complaints nor disputed funds. We request your acceptance.
And the inclusion numbers were remarkable on this.
As a matter of fact, yeah.
Then I'll make a motion that we approve agenda item number 5, seconded by Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 5. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send number 5 forthwith. Agenda item number 6, Mr. McReynolds, you're here as well. Contract acceptance sidewalk repair program package number 40, recommending that the board accept the contract. This is in Council Districts 9 and 10.
Thank you. Yes. Bid package number 40 in Council Districts 9 and 10. On June 29, 2018, this contract was awarded on a competitive basis to environmental construction using the current emergency on-call geotechnical list of contractors. The project was awarded for $360,610 with a contingency for a total amount budgeted of $432,732. The contract again repaired sidewalks adjacent to city facilities and council districts mentioned previously. Work included sidewalks, curb ramps, canopy pruning for trees, and utility relocations. 2 change orders were issued in this project, bringing the total cost to $402,265.05, which is 7.04% below the authorized budget amount. Change orders added scope, including an access ramp. Contract was issued using the emergency geotechnical on-call list, thus no specific MBEWB requirements were listed, and the contractor did meet all EEO and labor compliant requirements. Work on this project was completed November 8, 2018, and there are no unresolved property complaints nor disputed funds. Again, we are requesting acceptance.
Any questions on number 6? I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 6, seconded by Commissioner Coloza. Any
Thank you.
objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 6. Any issue sending 6 forthwith? We'll send number 6 forthwith. Mr. Roch, Office of Community Beautification, Contract Amendment, Los Angeles Conservation Corps, agenda item number 3. Recommending that the board authorize the Office of Community Beautification, subject to transfer and appropriation, to execute a contract amendment with the Los Angeles Conservation Corps in the amount of $250,000 to fund the Clean and Green program during calendar year, that's calendar year, not fiscal year, 2019. Secondly, authorize the Director of the Office of Accounting to appropriate funds for the above amendment upon transfer of funding to the Board of Public Works. And third, authorize myself or 2 members of the Board of Public Works to execute the contract amendment after approval as to form has been obtained from the City Attorney. Mr. Roch on number 3.
Good morning, Paul Roch, Director of the Office of Community Beautification. The Los Angeles Conservation Corps, under contract with OCB, operates the Clean and Green program throughout the city of Los Angeles. Approximately 300 to 350 Los Angeles youth, ages 13 to 17, are hired to participate in the program on a yearly basis, providing various community beautification services, such as alley cleanup, tree planting, tree maintenance, litter and weed abatement, graffiti removal, recycling, community outreach, and assistance at numerous city events. There has been no increase to the Clean and Green budget for several years, which has created challenges for the program. Youth are paid at a minimum wage, which has continued to increase over the past years. Vehicle costs, insurance, liability, and other costs of doing business have continued to increase. A supplemental allotment of $250,000 for the Clean and Green program was included in the general city purposes portion of this year's budget. The Office Council Member Herb Wesson has instructed that those funds now be transferred into the Board of Public Works Contractual Services account, and they are now ready to be downloaded into a contract, an existing contract with the LA Conservation Corps. So I'm before the Board of Public Works this morning requesting authority to execute an amendment to an existing contract to provide these additional resources to the LA Conservation Corps for enhanced clean and green services. Thank you.
Great, thank you for the explanation, Mr. Roch. Commissioner Coloza.
Good morning. I just had a quick follow-up question. If you could just clarify why this urgent pressure washing is needed for the Marvin Broad building, because that's what the additional funds are for, right?
Yeah, well, though that's agenda item number 4, which is probably going to be called next.
So sorry.
That's not the one with the
Okay, so
for
sorry.
clean and green.
I'll get to that. I got
Okay.
ahead of myself.
Okay, well, we'll call your question when we get to number 4. Thank you. Any other questions on number 3? Then we will, I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 3, seconded by Commissioner Cabello. Any issues, any objection to number 3, by the way? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 3. Any issues sending number 3 forthwith? We'll send number 3 forthwith. And Mr. Roch, you are correct. We're going to call agenda item number 4 next. Contract amendment, graffiti control systems. This is recommending that the board authorize the Office of Community Beautification to execute a contract amendment with graffiti control systems to increase the ceiling amount of the contract by $9,300. Secondly, authorize the Department of General Services to piggyback on an existing contract that the Office of Community Beautification administers with graffiti control systems. And third, authorize myself or 2 members of the Board of Public Works to execute the contract amendment after approval as to form has been obtained by the Office of City Attorney. Mr. Roch, and you have Commissioner Coloza's question before you already.
Okay, I'll try to answer it in my summary, but if not. So Graffiti Control Systems is the one privately owned graffiti removal company under contract with the Office of Community Beautification. They provide specialty work such as high elevation graffiti removal from murals, applications of protective coatings, sidewalk steam cleaning, and other as-needed services. The Department of General Services would like to utilize graffiti control systems for certain services around the Van Nuys Civic Center and the Marvin Browdy building. Both those areas have become recently pretty heavy targets for graffiti, and regular general services crews are not able to keep up with the amount of work that apparently there's a lot of tagging happening both inside the building but also out in the courtyard and along the sidewalks around the Civic Center area. So they have requested authority to piggyback on our existing contract with graffiti control systems for an additional amount of $9,300 that would be utilized between now and the end of the fiscal year for graffiti control systems crews to go out and do the work around those city facilities.
Thank you. Commissioner Caloza.
And just for my own understanding, is it common for GSD to piggyback on our contract, or is this a normal partnership that we have with them in this way?
They have done it in the past, primarily for work around some city facilities that do tend to get heavily tagged up. And, you know, it's not only general services. Street services in the past has piggybacked on our contract with GCS to do graffiti abatement in several of the tunnels that are high impact graffiti targets, and you know our regular graffiti crews aren't able to do those locations as well. So they're looking for a lot of sidewalk high pressure water steam cleaning to get some of the grime off the sidewalks around the Civic Center area, and then a lot of graffiti abatement in the courtyard area of the Civic Center.
And so this is an emergency because, I'm just trying to understand the process, because GSD requested it, or is it because we are receiving community feedback and that we're trying to deploy extra resources?
Well, Department of General Services has requested authority to piggyback, and I don't know if it's an emergency per se, but it's just they've found that the city facilities out there have seen a huge increase in the amount of graffiti over the past 6 months or so, to the point that their regular crews are not able to keep up with the full amount of work, and they would rather not allow that graffiti just to sit there for 2 or 3 weeks before being removed.
I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Caloza. Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Roch. I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 4, seconded by Commissioner Cabello. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 4. Thank you for the further explanation, Mr. Roch. Any issue sitting number 4 forthwith? We'll send number 4 forthwith.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Agenda item number 2, requested tree removal. Council District 1, 4547 East Cleveland Avenue, recommending that the board first find that the project is categorically exempt under Article 3, Section 1, Class 3, Category 1 of the city's Environmental Quality Act guidelines, and there is no substantial evidence the proposed project will have significant effect on the environment and is in compliance with CEQA, which is the California Environmental Quality Act. Secondly, find that none of the exceptions to the use of a categorical exemption as set forth in Section 15300.2 of the state CEQA guidelines apply. Third, specify that Streets LA, Urban Forestry Division, located at 1149 South Broadway, is custodian of the documents and other material that constitute the record of proceedings upon which the board's decision is based. And fourth, review and approve the request for a fee permit to remove 3 Southern California black walnut trees. Tree replacements are required. Mr. Banuelos on number 2.
Yeah, good morning, President James, Commissioners, Bureau Representatives, City Attorney Dr. Campos. Hector Banuelos here with the Streets LA Urban Forestry Division. What we have before us is a request to remove, for a permit to remove 3 Southern California black walnuts for construction of a single-family residence located at 4547 East Cleveland Avenue in the Mount Washington Glassell Park Pacific Plan area. It's a vacant lot, has steep to moderate topography, and the proposed home will measure approximately 2,478 square feet, and with the lot measuring 6,041 square feet. The Streets LA always looks to preserve trees whenever possible, to protect the trees. However, with the construction of this single-family residence, the trees are located directly in the middle of the lot. Two are located within the footprint of the home, and one is located within the footprint of the driveway. Right, there you got trees. The walnuts are in fair condition, as they're multi-trunk trees, and pretty nice specimens. However, they are required to be removed in order to allow for construction of the home. The Department of City Planning prepared a categorical exemption and determined the project is categorically exempt pursuant to the City of Los Angeles, California Environmental Quality Act guidelines. The Street Services did reviewed the categorical exemption and concur with the Department of City Planning determination that the project is categorically exempt. The First Council District Office, the Community Forestry Advisory Committee, and Department of Neighborhood Empowerment were informed of the tree removal permit request. If approved, the applicant shall plant 12 15-gallon size trees of Southern California black walnuts on the property, and the trees shall be watered for a minimum 3-year period, and they will post cash bond to ensure the survival of the species.
Okay, so it's a 4-to-1 replacement of the same type of tree on the site, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Any questions on agenda item number 2? I don't have any questions. I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 2, seconded by Commissioner Cabello. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 2. Thank you, Mr. Banuelos.
Thank you.
Any issue sending number 2 forthwith? We'll send number 2 forthwith. Agenda item number 1. Bureau of Engineering, task for solicitation number 26, Tetra Tech Incorporated, recommending that the board authorize the city engineer to issue the task to Tetra Tech from the pre-qualified on-call wastewater and environmental engineering consultants list to provide an update for the city's 2024 plane management plan as stated in task number 26 with a budget authority of $450,000, which includes contingency. Mr. Chen, welcome on this Earth Day, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. I'm Steve Chen with Bureau of Engineering, and I'm here to request authorization to allow the city engineer to issue a task to Tetra Tech for the update of the floodplain management plan as part of the pre-qualified on-call wastewater and environmental engineering consultants list, again with a budget authority of $450,000, which includes contingency. So the city is part of the is a participant in the National Flood Insurance Program, which requires that the city update the city's floodplain management plan every 5 years. So the last plan was updated in 2015. So the next one is now due to be updated by October of 2020. We currently have a rating system that is, each community is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, and the city of Los Angeles is currently rated at a rating of 7. 1 being the best, 7 or 10 being the worst, and so we're at a 7. So there's room for improvement. But at a rating of 7, we do get a 15% discount for all properties that are located in a special flood hazard area. Those residents get an insurance premium discount of 15%, and all other residents in the city get a 5% discount. So for this task, we're asking the consultant to do several tasks, which include to identify opportunities and strategies to improve the city's CRS score and lower the flood insurance costs for all residents. We're also asking them to identify and document the city's known flood problem areas, to establish goals, objectives, and policies, and implement programs to reduce flooding and flood-related hazards, to ensure that the natural and beneficial functions of all floodplains are protected, to conduct public outreach activities to solicit public participation in the planning process and raise public awareness of flood hazards in the city, and to update the city's flood management plan and implement any changes necessary for the city to satisfy the latest community rating system requirements. As a process of procuring the contract of the consultant, we distributed the task to all the firms on the list on September 4th of last year. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get any responses that first time, but we did follow up with contacting the firms to get some feedback on it. and was then decided that we would reissue the solicitation back to the list on October 30th last year. And we were fortunate enough to get one proposal. That's only one proposal, but we feel that it was by Tetra Tech, obviously, and based on their qualifications and experience, we feel that they are the most qualified or very qualified to do this task, as it is very specialized and only certain types of individuals are qualified to do this work. So we are recommending that we can award this task to Tetra Tech.
Thank you, Mr. Chen. Commissioner Cabello.
Thank you, President James. I'm curious as to why it's being funded from general fund. I think my entire time on the board, and it's not been long, granted, I've yet to see anything funded from the general fund come across our way. So just curious as to why the source of funding is GF.
Fund is correct. Well, the request was, we give the request to the city, the CEO every year, the budget, and that's how it's funded. I can't answer the question why they decided to fund it with general fund. It was the decision by, through the budget process.
I'd love if you can look into that for me.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Mr. Chen, when you respond to Commissioner Cabello's inquiry, you could send it to Dr. Campos so he can distribute it to all of us. Thank you. Commissioner Davis?
This is a sole source.
No.
Oh, are they subcontracting?
Yes.
What does that look like?
Yes, so right now we're looking at for the inclusion, they're right now at 9.33 minority business.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Right.
We're proposing 9.33 of
Correct.
minority business enterprises.
Yes.
And 9.33 of small businesses.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. So, Mr. Chen, you mentioned the first time around, no inquiries.
Right.
Back in September. So you checked with our on-call list, some of our members, got some feedback, and resubmitted in October, and you got one.
Right.
Better than none.
Yeah.
You have the opportunity to do the work. Anytime, though, that we have just one, I always ask the same couple of questions. Are you satisfied with, I know what the answer is going to be, but I'd like the oral record to reflect it. Is engineering satisfied with the negotiation that took place with the contractor and the terms for what we're being asked to approve?
Yes, we have discussed it with them, and we feel that they have the staff that are qualified to do this work. Yeah.
You referenced that in your presentation. Did you have the opportunity, since we only got one, do you know or did you inquire as to, from some of the others, as to why we only ended up with one?
Yeah, so I think there's a combination of things. One, when we talked to the firms the first time around, is some are just too busy, and some actually said they don't have the appropriate staff to do this work, so they declined to respond. And yeah, basically it's just a combination of too busy and not having staff. I think those are the main reasons.
Okay, well, thank you for the follow-up. At least, even if it's anecdotal, at
Yeah.
least I like to have something on the record as to why we only end up with one. I know that people are busy out there, and the economy seems to be moving along for some of these companies. I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 1, seconded by Commissioner Caloza. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 1. Thank you, Mr. Chen.
Thank you.
Any issue sending number 1 forthwith? We'll send number 1 forthwith, and we'll look forward to your email on the general fund inquiry. Agenda item number 7, requested contract award North Outfall Sewer Rehabilitation Unit 9, Aliso to 6. This is in Council District 14. Recommending that the board find Blois Construction, the apparent first low bidder, to be non-responsive as discussed in the report. Secondly, declare Spinello Infrastructure West, the apparent second low bidder that became the first low bidder for bid evaluation purposes after the local business preference was applied, to be the lowest responsive responsible bidder, and award Spinello the contract for the project for $7,792,518. And third, authorize myself or 2 members of the Board of Public Works to execute the contract after approval as to form has been obtained from the city attorney. Mr. Jensen on number 7.
Good morning. Brad Jensen with the Bureau of Engineering, Wastewater Conveyance Engineering Division. This morning, for this item for the award of NOS Unit 9. This project will rehabilitate by slip lining 4,066 feet of 45, 48, and 54-inch sized sewer pipes on Mission between 4th and Aliso Street. Bids for this project were received on January 23rd. We received 6 bids for this project. Blois submitted a bid of $7,396,249. Spinello submitted a bid for $7,792,518, which both were below the city engineer's estimate. Based upon the range of bids submitted for this project, staff believes these bids are reasonable. The project included the local business preference program. Bureau Contract Administration verified that the apparent first low bidder, Blois, is not a certified local business enterprise. The apparent second low bidder, Spinello, is a certified local business enterprise. So based upon these findings, Spinello would become the first low bidder and Blois becomes the second low bidder for bid evaluation purposes after the local business preference is applied. The project also included the business inclusion program. Under this, Blois failed to meet the required minimum subcontracting minimum percentage set forward on this project of 20%. Blois pledged 17.95% toward the MSM. Office of Contract Compliance sent a letter dated January 30th, 2019, notifying that Blois would be recommended to the board that they would be deemed non-responsive for failing to meet the MSM requirement. In an email dated January 31st, 2019, Blois responded stating that it understood how that percentage was calculated from the documents we submitted, but our intention and our ability to meet the MSM of 20% is not accurately reflected in the bid proposal. Blois explained that they had listed their subcontractor, Thompson Pipe Group, for the 60% participation credit amount of $525,600 as a total dollar amount of the subcontract instead of listing that amount in the correct participation level box. Blois claimed that if our bid had followed our intention, our participation total would have been 21.04%. Per the Public Contract Code, a contractor may assert a claim of error in their bid within 2 working days following bid opening. Blois explained that the amount listed for the Thompson Pipe Group was an unintentional clerical error in their letter dated January 31st, but failed to assert a claim of this error within the 2 working days following bid receipts. Therefore, Blois should be held to the bid listed amount for the subcontractor as entered because allowing Blois to change their subcontractor bid amount after the specified time would be a violation of the Public Contract Code and could be considered a bidder advantage. In view of the above findings, Office of Contract Administration recommends that Blois be found non-responsive for failure to meet the MSM requirement for this project. Spinello has pledged on their participation a minimum subcontracting of 22.84%. They've also pledged 2.39% MBE, 0.38% WBE, 4.4% SBE, 1.13% EBE, and 16.74% OBE. In view of the above findings, Spinello, the first low bidder after the local business preference was applied, as the lowest responsive responsible bidder. And this project does also include a project labor agreement, so Spinello will be required to meet the terms of that agreement as well. So in view of the above, staff recommends that the board find Blois, the apparent first low bidder, to be non-responsive, declare Spinello, the apparent second low bidder, that became the first low bidder after the local business preference was applied, to be the lowest responsive bidder, and award them the contract for this project.
Thank you, Mr. Jensen. Commissioner Cabello.
Thank you, President James. Point of clarification, and maybe Dr. Campos can help me recall this correctly. On page 6 of the board report, it states that Spinello has not been awarded any contracts issued by the board within the last 5 years, but I maybe not so clearly remember awarding Spinello a contract recently. Is that correct, Dr. Campos?
Yeah, I would have to look through my records to see if we just awarded a contract to Spinello.
We
if you
did.
Give me a few minutes, I can look that up.
So we might want to just change that for the
Yeah,
record.
so, I think just recently they've been awarded, I believe, 2 contracts.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's more than one. We have a representative from Spinello here as well. that can confirm that. Yes, confirmed.
Let's just correct that for the record then.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Mr. Smith is here too. So thank you, and that'll be corrected. Thank you, Commissioner Cabello. Mr. Blois, Mr. Jensen, just confirming, Blois was notified of the hearing
They were.
today, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and they are not here. Spinello is here if we have any questions for them. We just did, they answered. I don't have any other questions. I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 7. Seconded by Commissioner Davis. Let me just add one thing for the record. And Brad, you may have said this, but I missed it if you did. The determination was made by the Bureau of Contract Administration that the lack of Blois to reach the mandatory subcontracting minimum and the circumstances around that could be considered a bitter advantage if Blois were to be allowed to materially change their subcontractor's bid amount after the specified time, which would also be a violation of the Public Contract Code. That's the position that the Bureau took.
Correct.
All right, thank you. Then I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 7, seconded by Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 7. Any issue sending 7 forthwith? We'll send 7 forthwith. Thank you.
Mr.
Also,
President,
Mr. Sadie, thank you for being here.
On that item, can I ask for just an amendment to that item so that we can correct page number 6, I believe?
Yes, that
in
would be
response to
amended
Commissioner-
pursuant to the oral discussion that was held on the record.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Agenda item number 8, contract award request, Council District 11, Walsh Construction Company, recommending that the board first find that the proposal by Walsh Construction Company, and it says 2, so maybe we have a Walsh 2 out there, is less than the ultimate cost to the city as compared with any other responsive proposal submitted. Secondly, so this is after the RFP process. Secondly, approve, award, and execute a contract with Walsh for the engineering phase of the 1.5 million gallons per day advanced water purification facility at the Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant. And third, authorize myself or 2 members of the Board of Public Works to execute the contract after approval as to form has been obtained from the city attorney. Mr. Amami.
Good morning. My name is Nasir Amami with Bureau of Sanitation, Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant, and I'm the project engineer for Hyperion Advanced Water Purification Facility project. We would like to request for authority to award and execute a contract with Walsh Construction for the development of the Hyperion Advanced Water Purification Facility project. So this project is aligned with Mayor Eric Garcetti's plan to transform Hyperion to 100% water recycling facility by 2035. Also, Mayor Garcetti's Executive Directive number 5, Emergency Drought Response, Executive Directive number 7, Sustainable City Plan, and One Water LA 2040 Plan, geared toward 50% reduction in purchased imported water by 2024, sourcing 50% of the water locally by 2035, and also 100% full advanced treatment water recycling at Hyperion by 2035. So this project, Hyperion Advanced Water Purification Facility project, will be the proof of concept for 100% full advanced water recycling at Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant. This project is in partnership with Los Angeles Department of Water and Power and Los Angeles World Airports to construct a 1.5 million gallon per day advanced water purification facility project to supply LAX, Hyperion, and potentially nearby users with high quality, what we call nitrified, denitrified, recycled water. The treatment process is comprised of fine screens, membrane bioreactors, or MBR. This is the first time that we are utilizing MBR technology in the city of Los Angeles. Reverse osmosis, which is RO, UV advanced oxidation process, and water quality stabilization. So next slide shows the major components for Hyperion Advanced Water Purification Facility project. MBR or membrane bioreactors, reverse osmosis, or RO UV advanced oxidation process. So the next slide shows the vicinity map for Hyperion Advanced Water Purification Facility project and the proposed recycled water conveyance system from Hyperion to LAX. So for the delivery of this project, City Council adopted an ordinance authorizing the LA San to utilize an alternative delivery method. In our case, progressive design build to deliver this project. Also, a local small business enterprise bid preference in lieu of the mandatory business inclusion program. So alternative delivery method in lieu of the conventional design bid build, and LSP in lieu of the mandatory BIP, business inclusion program. LA San and LADWP will cost share the project, 30% LA San and 70% Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. This is a two-step procurement process. So first step was to issue a request for qualifications to the project developers and equipment suppliers. Then we received a statement of qualifications from project developers and equipment suppliers. Based on the criteria, evaluation criteria in the RFQ, we developed a short list of project developers and equipment suppliers. Then we issued a request for proposal to the shortlisted project developers, and based on the selection criteria, evaluation criteria in the RFP, we selected Walsh Construction as the successful project developer with the lowest ultimate cost. Key drivers for using a progressive design build to deliver this project. So this is, as I mentioned earlier, this is the first time that MBR technology will be utilized in City of Los Angeles. So LA San is pursuing a turnkey project development model that shifts the performance risk to the project developer who has the expertise and work experience with such projects. So this also provides the opportunity for knowledge transfer to the city staff and shortens the project schedule and expedites the implementation since the construction phase, as you can see in the slide, construction phase and engineering phase can proceed simultaneously. So we can start the construction phase earlier than conventional design build project. So project approach, once again, in February 2017, board authorized the director of LA San to issue a RFQ to shortlist project developers and equipment suppliers. We received 6 statement of qualifications from the project developers and 12 statement of qualifications from the equipment suppliers. And based on the board authorized the director of LA San to issue a RFP to the project developers. And based on the evaluation, we received 4 proposals from 4 pre-qualified project developers, and we selected Walsh Construction based on the evaluation criteria in the RFP. Proposal evaluation has 3 main components: technical proposal, cost proposal, and mandatory LSBE requirement. 80 points for technical proposal, 20 points for cost proposal, and 15% mandatory LSBE requirement with up to 2 bonus points for exceeding that. So this table shows the LSBE points obtained by shortlisted project developers. As I mentioned, 15% mandatory LSBE requirements, 1 point for participation between 20 to 25%, and 2 points for participation 25% and greater. CDM received 2 LSBE points, 2 points for Walsh Construction, 0 point for Parsons, and JF Shea did not meet the 15% mandatory LSBE requirement. So cost proposal evaluation, cost proposal has 3 components: the guaranteed maximum price for engineering phase and site preparation, the construction phase points, and also performance validation. So for the guaranteed maximum price, 5 points, up to 5 points for guaranteed maximum price for engineering phase and site preparation, 14 points for construction phase, and 1 point for performance validation. So based on that, JFSHA ranked number 1. However, they did not meet the 15% mandatory LSB requirement. And again, this is the lowest cost, not the lowest ultimate cost. And Walsh Construction ranked number 2. So this slide shows the combined scores to determine the lowest ultimate cost as opposed to lowest cost. So combining the scores for technical proposal, up to 80 points, cost proposal up to 20 points, and mandatory LSP requirements up to 2 points, Walsh Construction was selected as the project developer with the lowest ultimate cost or best value to the city. So as I mentioned earlier, our evaluation and selection criteria factors in qualitative criteria as part of the technical proposal to determine the lowest ultimate cost, including efficient project execution plan, minimized construction duration, cost reduction methods, innovative ideas, and minimized operation and maintenance. And based on that, Walsh Construction appeared to be the lowest ultimate cost project developer to the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Amami. Just one thing before I go to my colleagues that I wanted to, and I had asked this question during the briefing, but I wanted to mention one aspect of it, but there's a second aspect that I think warrants confirmation, which so Walsh is the recommended firm. Yes. And one of the competitors is JFSHA. They came in third overall.
Yes.
But there's a company called Walsh Shea that is our contractor with Metro for the Crenshaw line. These are the same Walsh Shea that are together on the Crenshaw line that are competitors in this project, correct?
So my understanding is that the Walsh has various business groups. The group that we are working with is Walsh Water Business Group, I believe. And they are the one they constructed the AWPF, Advanced Water Purification Facility, which is similar to our project. Microfiltration, reverse osmosis, and UV advanced oxidation process at Terminal Island. So we are working with Walsh Business Group, Water Business Group. And that project could be another business group, heavy civil group.
So it's a completely different group than the transportation group. And a number of entities have that structure. And I'm losing, who's our contractor on the 6th Street Bridge, Ted? I'm forgetting. Skanska. Yeah, Skanska has the same kind of setup where we have one division that works with us on one aspect of a metro project, and then a different division works on a bridge. It is the same company of Walsh, which that was confirmed to me in the briefing, which is fine. But just out of my own curiosity and anybody else who's looking at this, is it the same company as Shea that's now a competitor in this project?
Yeah, good morning. My name is Blaine Goodman. I'm the project manager on this proposed project. So Walsh is a nationwide contractor, as well as JFSHA and a lot of these big competitors. For a joint venture such as Crenshaw, the two entities teamed up and created a separate company. Separate safety, separate outreach, separate everything from Walsh Construction that's proposing on this job. Aside from that, that's our heavy civil group, which does mass rail, road work, things like that, and we're part of the water group that's proposing on this. Okay. But yes, Walsh and Shea, these companies are the same.
Yeah. Great. It's like, sometimes you're co-counsel with somebody that you end up trying a case against a year later. You never know. We'll start with Commissioner Cabello.
Thank you, President James. I think that Mayor Garcetti is extremely ambitious, and I think we were all there when he announced the 100% water recycling at Hyperion by 2035. And looking around the press conference, I could see panic, fear, and hope and excitement in everyone's eyes, and rightfully so. So this is a great step toward getting us there. And I really want to commend sanitation for always stepping up the mayor sets ambitious goals and sanitation meets them every time, so I want to thank you. And I really do think it's a very smart, innovative project delivery method when you're doing smart and innovative technology that's been unprecedented in the city. So I commend sanitation and I thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Cabello. Commissioner Davis?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the inclusion program here. We've used a different model here than we've normally used in terms of being able to implement the local small business enterprise percentage. And in fact, as I see, even though the companies are familiar with each other as they present in terms of competing for this contract, obviously Walsh was the one that was able to meet the threshold of local small business enterprises that we had proposed in our guest there. Now, what was that number? Was that how much?
25.8. So actually they exceeded the threshold. The threshold was 15% mandatory requirements.
Right.
Walsh and City and Smith, they scored higher, 25.8% for Walsh.
And how much did Shea do?
Shea did not meet the mandatory, so 14.7 for Shea.
Right. So that in and of itself is probably an area of revelation in terms of the challenge for full performance from each of the prime contractors, even though quality control in terms of how excellent and what kind of level of skills you bring to the table is important. Equally, it is important in terms of your ability to perform on inclusion, given the makeup of Los Angeles, number one, and number two, given the expectation of this board and the leadership of this city. So to that end, I'm very pleased to see an effort towards making sure that they were comprehensively competitive, not only in terms of doing those things to make it a great project in terms of what we require in skills, but also knowing that inclusion was equally important. So to that, I think that they certainly outperformed their competitor in that, and I think the system that we've used here is something that we'll look at very carefully in terms of how it results in inclusion, because it's different in many ways, but how it results in inclusion is going to be critically important to us. And it appears to me, in conclusion, that this particular WASH effort is in line with the values of the board.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Anything further? That sounded like a motion for agenda item number 8.
Yes.
Okay, along with a second by Commissioner Cabello. Any objection? Without objection, we will adopt agenda item number 8. Sir, thank you for walking us through that.
Thank you.
Without objection, we'll adopt number 8. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send it forthwith. Thank you, sir. And we got your name for the record, I think. If not, you can provide that. Okay, thank you, Mr. Goodman.
Mr. President, on item number 8, I'd
Yep.
like to ask, and we would have to vote again, but just adopt the report as amended to authorize the president of 2 members to sign the contract after approval as to form has been obtained by city attorney. So that's not reflected in the board report, but it is reflected in the agenda.
Okay, then so amended, correct? Okay, we have no objections to that amendment, and that'll be the course.
Thank you.
I don't think we have any objection to sending it forthwith. Dr. Campos, that clears us of the voting items, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, that moves us to our oral reports. Thank you all for your participation. Our super expedited wastewater emergency rehabilitation updates, sewers 5 and 6 from engineering, Mr. Tolles.
Good morning. Happy Earth Day. I am Ryan Tolles, the division manager with the Bureau of Engineering Wastewater Conveyance Construction Division. I'm here today to give an update on the Sewers 5 and Sewers 6 contract. I have a few highlighted items here that I'll just go over. The contract start date I'll start with Sewers 5. The start date was May 2nd of 2013, and the expiration date was March 31st of 2019. Total time of 2,159 days, and so the percent of time expended to date is 118%. This Sewers 5 contract had 3 contractors. The first contractor was Matthew and Stewart Company. They were awarded 592 construction orders throughout the duration for a total dollar amount of $15,942,130. Second contractor was M&R Construction. They dropped out of the list March 19th of 2014, so you'll notice their numbers are a lot lower. The construction orders issued to them were 17. for a total dollar amount of $381 or $381,185. Then we have Tomovich and Associates, which was the final contractor. They were issued 329 construction orders for a total dollar amount of $9,187,490. So all combined, there was a total of 938 construction orders for a total dollar amount of $25,510,805. The contract cost ceiling was $26 million, and so the remaining budget on that contract is $489,195, about 98% it has been expended to date. So that's a quick update on the Sewers 5. And the next one here is Sewers 6. It's a 5-year contract. The expiration date is November 2nd of 2022. It started on November 3rd of 2017. So far, there's been 513 days expended, which is about 28% of the total contract term. Also, 3 contractors on this, the same contractors, Matthew and Stewart. They've been issued 189 construction orders, and they've completed 134 so far. And their total dollar amount issued to date is $6,176,284. M&R has been issued 79 construction orders, and they've completed so far 66 for a total dollar amount of $1,892,633. And last one here is Tomovich and Associates. They've been issued 123 construction orders and completed 103 so far for a total dollar amount of $3,130,003. So to date, there's been a total of 391 construction orders issued, 303 completed, and a total of $11,198,920 expended. This contract ceiling is $30 million, which is $4 million larger than the previous Sewers 5 contract, and the total remaining balance is $18,801,080, which is about 37% expended to date. So that completes my report. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Tolles. No questions from me. No other questions. The oral report will be received.
All right, thank you.
We'll look forward to your next one. And Dr. Campos, have we cleared the desk?
Yes, you have.
Okay, have a wonderful Earth Day, everyone. And we are adjourned this morning. Thank you.